For the latest in strategic affairs, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell icon for updates.
You are on StratNewsGlobal and I am Nitin Gokhale. In this special broadcast, I have with me the chairman of Indian Space Research Organization or ISRO, Dr. Somnath, who was visiting Delhi from Bangalore, and we were fortunate to have him on our program at a short notice. Thank you very much for your time, Dr. Somnath.
Thank you, Nitin. Thank you for having me here.
No, it's a pleasure for us. And let me start straight away by asking you and congratulating you on the recent successful launch of so many satellites there. What was so special about this recent launch, if you can tell our viewers?
Yeah, this was the launch of Launch Vehicle Mark III. We call it LVM-3. Its first commercial mission after maybe its second operational flight that we had a commercial mission, and the launch for OneWeb for launching their 36 satellites in a circular orbit around Earth. It was unique from the point of view that we were using our cryogenic upper stage called C25 for separating those spacecrafts in one desired directions. When you have to separate 36 satellites, there are a lot of problems. The problems of them possibly colliding during the separation or post separation once they are in the same orbit for a long period of time. So we have to have a strategy how it will not hit each other. So this was planned and executed using the cryogenic stage. I don't think anywhere in the world the cryogenic stages are used for such an activity, for moving a stage left and right, turning, then separating, giving small velocities, etc. We did it for the first time and did it in a shorter duration than what was done elsewhere using other rockets. That was a uniqueness.
That was wonderful. I think unique concept and unique execution.
Yes.
So going forward, will this become a norm now? Will there be more commercial launches and using this technology?
Of course it is there. The current contract with OneWeb is for launches of 2 LVM-3s. So the first one we done. Now that second launch will take place possibly January-February time frame, and we are getting ready with the rocket. Satellites are also going to come.
Right.
So that is the first part of it. And after these 2 launches are over, possibly we may be getting further contracts from the same company. We are in discussion now through NSIL, the New Space India Limited, for their generation 2 satellites, for getting them to be launched starting from 2024 onwards. And if they are going to give that contract, it will be also be a major work. Few numbers of launches have to be taken place. Their idea is to have around 300 plus satellites to be launched, and we alone cannot launch, so they will have a global activity of launching them all on a sudden using multiple launchers, and we will try to compete with that and then take our share in that launches.
And obviously the more you take, the more commercial success it will be.
They are asking, can you take the whole of them? But unfortunately our ability to produce a number of rockets in India industry is currently limited, and we are trying to ramp up that also.
And these satellites will be of course used for communication mainly.
They are essentially internet service direct to devices and ground, and there are hundreds of them rotating around the globe to give that service.
What other projects are in the immediate vicinity of the next few months, if you can tell us?
No, there are many. One of them that is getting ready for launch is PSLV, our traditional PSLV launch, which will launch Ocean Sat 3 along with Bhutan Sat.
These are for weather.
It's an Earth observation satellite, basically looking at oceans predominantly, and it measures the ocean surface temperature. It looks at the color of the ocean, and it also measures the velocity of wind velocities on the surface of the ocean. So all this goes to the climate models, and also look at fish catching prediction, and so many other activities which is connected with our departments of ocean sciences, etc.
So ISRO traditionally has helped various government services in remote sensing, in other space applications. So will that continue to be your focus, and then so are you going to sort of expand that activity for the government?
It is going to be. So we have created a new mechanism by which this activity will be now taken forward. What we do is we call all the ministries, departments into a common forum chaired by principal scientific advisor, and this forum will review what are the needs of that departments, and our satellites will be provisioning that needs. So basically whatever capacity, technological capacity that we have, we will serve many of the ministries, and they will be contributing to the projects by their budgetary allocation as well. So this model is going to work now.
So yeah, so basically it's all of government approach, if one can say that.
Correct. Yes.
And what about helping our neighbors? Because there is this, the what was called the SARC satellites, or the BIMSTEC countries wanted some of these satellites.
So what we do is in different areas this help happens.
Right.
Suppose it is Earth observation.
Yes.
We have a BRICS engagement.
Yes.
And through BRICS engagement, we create depository of remote sensing data for use by everybody.
Yes.
This is one way of providing.
Right.
We deal with each of the governments separately. We enter into MOUs.
Correct.
And through the MOUs, we are providing some amount of data or technical support, ground station building, etc. We engage. Then another method is that you can do it on a contractual basis.
Sure.
So we will like to take some of the satellite building for Bangladesh. We are discussing. We are looking at other friendly neighboring countries where we can do this. This is actually going on.
Yes.
Then for Bhutan, for example,
Right.
this is a joint collaboration in which Bhutanese scientists came to ISRO. They worked here along with us and developed the satellite.
Oh,
and we
wonderful.
are building a ground station for Bhutan and training them how to use it.
Wonderful.
So this happened and we are going to have this launch. So there are different models
Sure.
for working with our neighboring nations.
But that by doing that, you're not only spreading your wings and your activities, you're also allowing a kind of a strategic relationship with these countries.
Precisely. So it has many other layers of activity involved. It is not only done by us.
Right.
It is done by our Ministry of External Affairs and is handled by various other strategic organizations on how to deal with this type of things.
That's true. But I mean, I'm not a technical man, so please, and also our viewers would like to know, the new frontier is being spoken about as the low Earth observation satellites, and then there is this middle Earth observation. So tell us, what are the developments in this sector?
Now, this is an emerging field now for the low Earth orbit, because low Earth orbit traditionally has been an area for Earth observation.
Right.
Because you are closer to Earth, you can see. Now, low Earth orbit using for communication is the biggest change that happened. Many people have been trying for creating communication satellites and provide direct mobile connectivity, which was technology which was eluding us.
Right.
And it ended up with only terrestrial internet and 5G services.
Right.
Now, the high throughput internet services directly from satellite is now possible globally because of the few technology changes that happened recently. One is launch cost has come down.
Okay.
So, satellite building has become also cheaper and automation in satellite building has come. So, because of these reasons, producing satellites, one satellite per day is possible now.
Okay.
That means thousands of satellites can be built today. Then second is launch capacity increase, means you can actually launch 30, 40, 50 satellites in one go.
Right.
So that is second change. Next is the changes in terms of technology, the 5G, etc.
Okay.
So all this put together, the LEO constellation concept has come, and Starlink, OneWeb, Amazon, etc. are coming into this domain.
That's right.
So it is creating a thousands of satellites to be launched in the next few years. Another change which is happening is because of the technology of Earth observation. We were observing Earth from low Earth orbit, 600, 700, 800 kilometers.
Sure.
Now people have come down to 400, 500 and put small satellites with high density imaging devices, which you have in cameras.
Yes, right.
So that devices allow you to high resolution. You would have noted your mobile phones, 3 megapixel has gone to 30
12,
megapixel.
13, 30, 40.
So like the technology change, this comes in satellite as well. So very compact cameras and very high artificial intelligence and data analytics based imaging processors combined is capable of doing Earth imaging faster. So this also increases, hundreds of such satellites are coming with a very seamless video connectivity. You can actually watch Earth as a video now, and this is available.
That's wonderful technological development that's going to happen. So geostationary orbit also.
Geostationary continues to the traditional way.
That's right.
But what happens there is the satellites are becoming powerful. Earlier we had 3 ton, 4 ton, now 5 ton, 6 ton satellites are launched. They are region specific satellites, so country specific. It can support a specific country or region for communication service, European, African, American, Southeast Asian.
Correct.
So their satellites are built for these regions in certain bands. They provide television connectivity, DTH connectivity, small aperture connectivity, internet connectivity also. We also having 3 such satellites.
Yeah, so that's something that again.
So it's a mix of many things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you got a full spectrum kind of ability and capabilities that you have developed or developing, whatever.
Yeah.
Gaganyaan has been one of the prestigious projects of ISRO. At what stage is it now, and how are you looking at it?
Gaganyaan has gone through little troubled times in the past because primarily the COVID disturbed us from the original goal of launching in 2022.
Right.
Unfortunately, we are not able to meet that schedule. So what we decided, let us anyway, it is affected. So we are looking at that it can be done little better. That's what we are looking at. So we decided that the rescheduling has happened by 2024 end.
Right.
And we also looked at it has to be done very reliably. There is no need to be hurrying.
Right.
So we set up a certain set of demonstration launches and testing launches, which are now scheduled from this year to next year full. So aborting missions, crew safety approaches, crew escape system test. So very elaborate test programs are now scheduled.
Obviously, you're sending a man in the
yeah. So that is the first part.
Right.
And the highest important achievement is that our launch vehicle, which is human rated, is now completed reasonably. But we are still lagging behind in making the crew module,
I see.
the environmental life support system. This originally we thought we can procure from some countries, and we found that it is not that easy.
I see.
They are having delays and they are not offering us all that we want.
Right.
Then we decided that we will do it ourselves. So that decision and change of procedure caused a little bit of delay, but we are happy that we are able to do it within India.
Sure. But moving away from what you have traditionally done, one of the big changes one has noticed after you've taken over is also this space-based economy that is now being sought to be expanded, as to be given a boost. How are you doing that, and how is the private sector response and participation that you would dovetail into this plan?
See, essentially what we are looking at, the space economy of the country is very, very low today if you compare with the global space economy.
Right.
It is typically 1.5 to 2% of the global space economy. We analyzed it and tried to find out where exactly is that we are lacking in terms of space economy.
Right.
So we found that the entire economy is driven by the downstream activity, the business activity.
Sure.
Unless the business activities scale up, the demand on the satellite building, launcher building, etc. will not increase. And manufacturing is important in this country. So we have to create ecosystem here where manufacturing improves, the business sense improves. This cannot happen, only government is involved in space sector.
Sure.
So government being the anchor provider for developing space sector, he has done the work for last 60 years.
Right.
Now this time has come, now we have to allow private enterprises to work in space sector, develop satellites, develop launch vehicle, develop downstream application, including ground infrastructure. You would have noticed that mobile phone, though originally it was not manufactured in India, but we allowed it. Now manufacturing also coming.
Coming in, yeah.
The equipments remain for mobile, the towers and transmission, it still comes from outside.
Sure.
We have to indigenize it, we have to make it in India.
Right.
But in space sector, same thing can happen if you do not allow this private building and things like that happen.
Sure.
So we promote private enterprises, and we have created an organization called InSpace,
yes.
to handhold these private people,
Right.
derive help from ISRO if it is needed for them to scale up and work. So this is an ecosystem creation, basically with the purpose of expanding the economic activity in space sector.
That's true, but how is the response? I mean, I hear varying figures about startups. Somebody says 100 startups in space, some says 150.
See, startup is only one indicator.
Yes.
Startup doesn't mean that everybody is going to become big.
Right.
So, see, we have to look for innovations, ideas, and this will come only from startups. So startups are promoted to look at ideas, and help them to do something different than others are doing.
And then you will help them scale up.
Them to scale up, and sometimes it may be handled by a bigger industries at a later point in time. Doesn't matter.
Correct.
Second level is that there are established engineering industries in India. They have to take up space as a primary task. Their business vertical should include space. For that, what we are trying to do is we are handing over some of our current activities to them. Big
that's
houses.
Wonderful, yeah.
Like PSLV being produced by ISRO is now signed with HAL and L&T. So they will produce PSLV and launch. That becomes one of their business vertical. So and satellites also we are going to do. That means big industrial houses, startups, medium scale industries, all should have job. if startup alone will become rocket launch, it is not.
No, it's not possible.
It's not possible.
Yeah, commercially,
so
it's not possible.
we are trying to help in multi-layer approach, so that every domain there will be a space activity.
I think it's a very good concept to encourage innovation, like you mentioned, and also involving industrial houses. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, then only there will be capital inflow.
There will be capital inflow.
Otherwise, it will not happen.
And also, they have the legacy, they have the practice.
They have the background.
Exactly.
To receive technology and retain them and do it.
Absorb it and then retain it.
That's very important.
Exactly, that's true. One final question. I know it's not your domain, but when we look at what's happening between Russia and Ukraine, the use of satellite-based communication, satellite-based ISR, all that is coming in for warfare, network-centric warfare. Where is that headed in terms of technology, as well as how is India faring on that front?
See, world over recognized this long back that space is going to be very, very important in a conditions of conflict. Of course, everybody was speaking about it, but then nobody was demonstrating it. Okay, so but this became a demonstration place where the abilities in space were actually helping in things in ground.
Sure.
But we were preparing it. I think in US also the understanding has come, and the space command is now becoming dominant and prominent, and become an integral part of the theater-based warfare. They become very, very important. So for India also, I think it is already understood, and corresponding activities are taking place. But the point is that we need to create the space capability. And space capability includes ability to put required number of satellites. Our satellite fleets have to increase. Our observation capability in numbers have to be there. Our revisit capability, periodicity has to become better. We must have very strategic, secured communication network existing, and we must have on-demand launch capability. So there are many elements of this strategic element, and we have to build all of them. And we are on that job. We will have to help the other side, which to develop that capability.
But one question that flows from here is, do we have enough skilled manpower for this?
See, skilled manpower, if you are not having, you have to create.
So you're working on that, right?
We have to simple thing. It may be there and may not be there. It doesn't matter. But once you decide that we need to have this capability, I think we have enough of minds who can train and do this work. But right now there may be a shortage. Yes.
Right. So I think that's a challenge that one has to meet,
and the ability to do it faster is another big challenge.
in Indian conditions, certainly. Dr. Somnath, that was wonderful insight, short interview, but certainly it was wonderful to hear from the man who's leading big changes in Indian space sector, Chairman of ISRO, Dr. Somnath, who agreed to do this interview at a very short notice. So thank you very much for that. So viewers, do keep watching StratNewsGlobal. You know where you get insightful interviews, informative interviews, and of course you can keep subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you have already subscribed, tell your friends, family and acquaintances to subscribe, and of course give us feedback. Our social media handles are all visible on the screen, so do follow them, and you will get as many updates as we are able to provide. For the time being, it's goodbye.